Hello, my name is Mingyu Ku, and welcome to the first Arduino lesson of the 2021-2022 school year. Today we're going to the basics, and we are learning how to control an Arduino LED with a switch. So we first need an Arduino Uno board, a breadboard in which the size does not matter, 6 jumper wires, a USB cable for connection to the computer, an Arduino LED that should be included in your Arduino starter kit, a 10K ohm resistor, and a 220 ohm resistor, and finally a push button switch. To me, ohm resistors are very confusing to tell between which is which, and an easy way you can tell on what the strength of the resistor is by using a voltmeter. Let's get on to the wiring. So first you want to connect the 5 volts to the red bar of the breadboard. This means that the entire vertical column will receive 5 volts of power. Next, we want to plug the LED one end into the blue side. Don't plug it into the red side of the breadboard, as this is supplied by the 5 volts. So you want to plug it into the blue side. Next, we'll want to plug the other end of the LED somewhere else onto the main section of the breadboard. We will be connecting a 220 ohm resistor to the same horizontal column. The middle section of the breadboard is connected horizontally, whereas the edges are connected vertically. That's why you want to connect the resistor on the same horizontal line as the end of the LED. And the 220 ohm resistor should be going over to the other side of the breadboard. And on the other horizontal side of the resistor, you want to connect a wire to digital pin 13. This is just like a location pin so that we can send command to the LED to make it turn on or off. And we also want to connect the ground power to the blue line. And the reason for this is, in order for an LED to work, we need to have like a complete circuit, and the 5 volts will supply the power, and the ground power will complete the circuit. In this LED case, the power from the digital pin 13 will go through the resistor and power the LED, as 5 volts is way too powerful for this kind of LED. We also want to set up the switch that we're using to control the LED. So first you want to do is place the switch in between so that one end stays in one side and the other end is in the other side. The first step is you just connect a red wire. It doesn't really matter what color, but I like to color code my wires to identify which serves as which purpose. So you want to connect the red wire to the red side on the vertical column. Again, this red vertical column is supplied by 5 volts of power. This will provide power to the Arduino switch. We also want to send another data cable or data sending cable just as a one in the LED, but this one will be for the switch. So we'll plug it into the other side of the switch, and this will go into digital pin 2. We also want a ohm resistor. This is going to be the 10K one, and that will get plugged into the same horizontal line as the digital pin 2 wire. From there, we need to connect it to ground. So we're going to connect the other end of the 10K ohm resistor to ground, the blue column. And after that, your wiring should be all complete, and we can move on to the coding. Alright, so starting with the code, we have to state the locations where the switch and the LED is plugged into the digital pins. So we start with constant integer button pin equals 2, because we plugged into digital pin 2 in the Arduino Uno. We also have to state where the LED is plugged into the digital pin, so I'll write another constant integer command. Constant integer LED pin equals 13. This is 13 because we plug into digital pin 13 of the Arduino Uno. We also have to state we have to also write a state of the switch to determine whether it's on or off. This is going to be another integer command starting with integer switch state equals 0. So right now by default it's going to be off. Onto the void setup, we want to set the LED and switch as inputs or outputs so that we know which one will be sending the commands and which one will be receiving the commands. So we start off with pin mode, and this is going to be the LED pin, and this is going to be output because the LED is going to be displaying light. And we're going to have another pin mode command, but this is going to be the button pin, and this is going to be the input because the switch is the one that's receiving the commands and sending it to the Arduino board. That's all for the setup, and onto the loop, which the Arduino board will run continuously. So the first thing I want to do is check if the switch is in an on or off position. And to do this, we use the previous command that we set before. Switch state equals digital. We're going to read, or in other words, we're going to check if the button is on or off. Button pin. And basically what it's going to do is it's going to set a high or low value. High means that the switch is on, and low means that the switch is off. Next, we're going to have a conditional statement, an if else command. It's a common line statement that you use to check if the switch is on or off. So to start, we do it if, and if we have to check if the switch state is on, and we set that to high to check if it's on. Then we want to turn the LED on, so we do the code for that is digital write LED pin, and we'll turn that to high. In this code, you're going to realize that high means that something is on and low means that something is off. And if this doesn't happen, we want to turn the LED off, so we're going to type in digital write LED pin and low, and this means that the LED will turn off. So this is all for the code. It's very simple, and you want to verify it. Alright, so there's no problem, so now I'm going to upload. And first thing I want to make sure is you're on the correct board. I'm using an Arduino Uno Wi-Fi board. You could be using the regular Arduino Uno that does not have the Wi-Fi, and make sure that you have the correct port that the computer is communicating with the Arduino. So let's upload the code now. Alright, the code has been uploaded successfully. This is just a warning, so it doesn't have actually any impact on the code. So now, if you press the switch, the LED should turn on, and if you press the switch again, the LED should turn off.